So The Last of Us Season 2.
Yeah, Last of Us Season 2.
Episode 7.
The final episode.
Convergence. What'd you think about it?
Oh, man, I thought it was pretty good. I had some parts in it that was kind of confusing. Maybe. We'll get to that.
Yeah, wondering, why.
Yeah.
Yeah, later in the episode. I mean, there's definitely one part I was thinking about. But, yeah, we can get to that later. Last episode, we ended with her
That was the
killing
flashback.
Nora.
No, that was the flashback episode.
Okay.
But at the very end of the episode, it ended with Ellie coming back to the theater in the rain after killing Nora or interrogating her with a pipe. Yeah. Torture. And this one starts out with Jesse and Dina.
Pushing the arrow through her
Dina
leg.
just got shot in the leg.
Yeah, he carried her all the way back, right? To the
Yeah,
theater.
I believe so, yeah. Jesse, the hero, again.
Right?
Pulls the arrow out of Dina, or pushes the arrow through Dina's leg.
I really like Jesse. I hope he sticks around for a while.
Yeah.
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 Ellie shows up and just bypasses going straight to Jesse.
Dina a dick to Jesse, I think. Like
Yeah,
she
there's
has quite a
some
bit.
hidden animosity. Well, I don't know if it's hidden.
What if they both like the same woman?
Yeah, that's true. And then Dina starts washing Ellie up. I guess she notices she got down and dirty for whatever reason.
Yeah, and then she came clean about why Abby and her friends killed Joel. And that Joel is, I guess, not a good person. But, I don't know. I feel that she maybe understood, or it's not going to be as big of a deal.
She definitely, I don't know if she was upset at her but she seemed upset after being told, right?
Upset that Ellie was keeping that from her.
Yeah.
That Ellie knew that all along.
That she did that to Salt Lake, but she didn't know that about Abby and them.
Right, yeah. She didn't know that it was Abby's people that Joel killed. Right. Yeah, I think I said that right. But after that, what happened?
Yeah, it cuts to Seattle day 3.
Oh, yeah. And Ellie and
Well, she
Jesse.
couldn't have been too upset about it because Dina, I guess before Ellie and Jesse head out, Dina gives Ellie a bracelet.
Oh, yeah, a good luck charm.
Yeah. It says it kept her alive this long. Mm-hmm. And they're heading out. Jesse and Ellie are heading to a bookstore to rendezvous with Tommy. Mm-hmm. They get there.
The bookstore, no Tommy.
Well, along the way, Jesse finds out, suspects Dina's pregnant.
Yeah, then Ellie confirms it. And
By accident, because
By accident,
Jesse was guessing.
And he says that, he loves her, but not in the same way that Ellie does.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they hear the thunderstorm starts. They take cover. Mm-hmm. And then the WLF and find that scar they're about to interrogate. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that scene?
I think that was a scene that was needed to put in there.
Why?
To show that Ellie just wants to save the innocent. She doesn't care what it cost.
She still, even after doing that to Nora, she would still risk her life. Yeah, to save somebody she feels is innocent. She sees WLF as the enemy, but not necessarily. She hasn't seen what the scars have done to. Well, I guess they have because they gutted somebody in a few episodes back, right?
Yeah.
They saw that, or we saw
But then
that.
they also
didn't.
saw what the wolves did to the scars.
Yeah.
Right when Dina and Ellie got to Seattle. And Jesse's like, no, this is not our war. We're just.
That was a good line. Like he's
Stay
smart,
out.
not brash.
Right.
I believe. When was it? She says, "I'm obvious," or something like that.
Obvious.
Yeah,
Jesse?
she says that. Ellie says that to Joel in the flashback. I'm not something. I'm just obvious.
I don't remember that, but yeah.
So anyway, so then it cuts to WLF. Isaac. He's talking to the girl.
Yeah, we saw her before. I forget.
I don't recall her name,
Yeah, I don't
but
remember.
that
She's one of the high-ranking.
that scene is there to say
Abby's important.
Abby is really important. That she's
Isaac.
going to run. He feels that Abby will run the WLF
If
once
Isaac
they're
is
gone. Yeah.
And it looks like they're preparing for a raid, right?
Right.
And
They're starting to.
That scene is like cut short. Ellie and Jesse, right?
Yeah. They go to the bookstore. They get to the bookstore,
You hear the radio chatter.
and then we also find out. Well, just put it together. In that last scene with Isaac talking to the lady about WLF, that Abby's supposed to be the next ones to run in the WLF, and then when it cuts to them in the bookstore, that's when Jesse and Ellie are clearing the air, right? And how he says all the decisions he makes, he's looking out for the good community and everything.
Right.
And I don't recall how they came to this conclusion, but Jesse is supposed to be the head of Jackson once he's supposed to be the next Maria.
Yeah.
So I like how
You could
those
say that.
those two are right there. So now we know that it's going to be leaders of one is building up against the leaders of this next one, right? Leaders of Jackson, right? Potential leader of Jackson,
But his decisions are only for the betterment of the community of Jackson.
right? They hear the radio. They hear snipers holding down some WLF.
And we know that's Tommy.
We know that's Tommy.
That's absolutely Tommy.
That was a hell of a scene in the game.
For real. You can play
Or
it as
gameplay
Abby
section,
at the
yeah.
time.
And then it cuts to Abby in the aquarium.
Huh?
It cuts to Abby and that's when they find out Abby's in the aquarium. Ellie figures out Abby's in the aquarium about because Nora said something about the whale
And the wheel.
in the wheel.
Yeah. And Ellie didn't know what that was
But
until
then she had an epiphany and saw the aquarium.
Yeah, she saw the aquarium that had
And the
like
Ferris
a whale
wheel.
painting on it, and the Ferris wheel. Yeah,
So then they decide to split.
right.
Ellie reinvigorated. It doesn't seem like it doesn't seem it's been portrayed, and we even talked about it before, how as adamant for vengeance as she is in the game, and feel that she still wants vengeance, but it doesn't necessarily seem as portrayed. She seems, I don't know, maybe like a 20, 25 girl in this world instead of a way I feel somebody growing up more fleshed out and grown via the game. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yeah, I feel like if she didn't have that epiphany or saw where Abby was supposed to be, that she might have actually went home. That's the feeling I got.
And it keeps hitting back and forth that
Right.
she's gonna.
Unless Tommy would have surprised us, with I figured Tommy wants vengeance more than most people in Jackson.
Understandably
The
so.
Ellie and Tommy.
Yeah. So that's when Jesse and Elle they split up. Jesse's gonna go help Tommy. Elle, she's heading straight to the aquarium.
Right. And from there, it goes straight to dark.
Yeah. So I guess we can see a vast distance. So
Yeah,
that's a
it
lot
was-
of distance to cover. So it's been hours it seems. She sees the WLF
Yeah.
loading up to go to Scar Island.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's like a
For the
big
raid?
ass platoon, right?
Right. Oh, it was several boats. Yeah, they were definitely having
Had
that raid.
Isaac and everybody on board. and there's a storm blowing in, or it's already there.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah, it's been raining all day.
Yeah, and the waves are
So Ellie
crazy
jumps
high.
Ellie jumps onto the boat, starts heading towards, and gets toppled by a wave.
Yeah, this huge ass rogue wave, like.
And then she gets washed up to Scar Island.
Mm-hmm.
This is the part of the episode where I feel was, I'm not going to say the weakest, but it doesn't seem
Necessary?
necessary.
Yeah. It might be necessary later.
Right.
It could be crucial later.
Well, it was in the game. Scar Island?
Mm-hmm. Ellie never went to Scar Island.
Oh. Okay, remember that was Abby we
That
played
was
during
Abby,
that section.
Abby and her little friend.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, Ellie is about to get the same treatment that they witnessed in the park in Seattle.
That's what it is.
Right before Dina got shot in the leg.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she gets strung
Gonna
up
get
with a
noosed
rope,
and
then
then get her
have a sickle.
ab cut.
Yeah.
And then that little kid.
Yeah, the little kid.
Yeah. The kid saw she got washed up by herself. And
Ellie was
presumably
trying to,
like raised to
to
think
her.
anybody else that's not one of the Seraphites is an enemy. So the kid gives a thumbs down, right?
Yeah. But then the horn.
The explosions start happening. They start whistling, and then the raid begins.
Yeah, so they just leave Ellie where she lay.
That also didn't make sense
No, it
to
didn't.
me.
They should've
I mean,
just
they could have just
sliced her throat.
They just let her go instead of just finishing her off. Which I don't. Now that was plot armor. If you can ever.
Oh, definitely. Main character plot armor.
Ellie takes that opportunity, jump right back into the boat, head straight to the aquarium,
And makes it, I guess, no problem this time.
going with the waves.
Yeah.
So, through a very tense walking section, Ellie's going through the aquarium. She ends up hearing what we find out to be Mel and Owen.
Yeah. That's Abby's love interest, I think. Believe.
Was it?
Mhm.
Oh.
But
So she does a very smart move, which was, I feel like I've seen it before. Maybe I'm putting it from another medium, where I want you two to point at this area of the map, and if it's different,
I think that was in the game.
okay. So maybe that's the reason why.
If it's different, well, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah. Owen ends up going for a gun,
Yeah. And gets shot in the neck.
shot in the neck, straight through. Ends up grazing
Mel.
Mel's.
Right in the carotid artery, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
And turns out
She starts bleeding.
she
starts bleeding out.
Yeah, but she's also pregnant.
Yeah,
Very
that's
pregnant.
that's the reveal right there.
Yeah.
I like the mirroring right there.
How
Maybe that's one way to
excited
say.
Ellie was that
Like
Dina
she's
was
trying to
pregnant.
protect Dina at all costs, and is willing to give up her quest for vengeance. Which, even though Dina wants to continue on, she still wants to quit, even because Dina is pregnant and that she cares for Dina. And then vice versa, for her quest for vengeance, she just killed another pregnant.
Yeah.
Further along,
Not on purpose,
right?
but still, it happened. And Mel tries to get her to cut it out.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow. But Ellie freezes
Cut deeper
up.
than you think.
Yeah. And she freezes up. She doesn't know, or she's too scared to do it. I
Right.
guess. And she just lets Mel bleed out and also let the baby die.
Elle, she portrayed really good about as far as being traumatized during all that and regretful immediately
Yeah.
seeing that.
Yeah. She only meant to shoot Owen, which was a hell of a shot,
Yeah.
right in the middle of the neck. While
And
she's standing there being all traumatized, scarred for life. Like Tommy shows up with Jesse and sees all this and just kind of pulls her away, I guess.
Yeah. No, yeah, she's just sitting there on the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what's going through Jesse's mind at this point. You know, they've been kind of at each other's throats.
Yeah.
And then him knowing about the pregnancy and then seeing that part. He had to put it together. He's not portrayed like as an idiot.
I would argue that Jesse and Ellie would not be friends after that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They would probably distance themselves from each other. But Jesse would totally put up with Ellie as much as he had to, just because of, you know, he's responsibility driven, like always. But I would argue they probably wouldn't have much of a relationship after that.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
So then they leave the aquarium, head back to the theater. Elle and Dina are in the back, right? Or is it Elle and Jesse?
No, it's Tommy and Jesse are on stage trying to plan their escape. And I think Tommy asked Ellie if you're okay with not killing Abby. I just have to live with it.
Yeah.
You know. Then Tommy goes to check on something. I don't know. I don't quite remember. But I think Dina's upstairs laying down. And
is that when they're talking, saying, I get it. Like, I know why you came back for me. Because you would have come back for me too. Right?
Yeah.
And then they hear a loud noise in the...
Gunshot? Was it a gunshot?
Probably.
I think Tommy got shot in the leg.
So they run through those doors.
Yeah.
Another gunshot happens. Rip my boy Jesse.
Yeah.
Gets shot right in the cheeks.
We're definitely not going to have a relationship with each other now.
No.
Like, so Jesse died.
And it's Abby.
He didn't deserve all that.
No.
He'd been treated like shit. Like, most of the time.
Yeah.
And then he gets shot in the head by Abby.
That's the brutal world of The Last of Us.
For real.
So Abby recognizes Ellie. Says, I'll let you live.
You killed all my friends.
Yeah.
I think Ellie's like, well, I didn't mean to.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my bad.
My
I was
bad.
trying to get you. And then it cuts. It makes it seem like Abby shoots Ellie, and it cuts to that.
Yeah, it fades to black.
Fades to
cuts
black.
to black, I guess.
And then it goes back to Seattle day one.
Yeah, it goes to Abby's perspective. Waking up in
Coliseum.
whatever the Seahawks play in.
Okay.
You know, some kind of Coliseum.
It's a big community.
Football stadium they converted.
She wakes up and then she walks out to see like that entire community in the Seahawks stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it cuts to black, right?
Yep. And that's the end of the episode, end of the season.
Well, reflecting back on it, how do you feel about it?
On this episode,
Yeah.
I feel it was a good episode.
I would.
I didn't like the part where Abby went to the island or got pushed to the island. You know?
Where Ellie did.
Or yeah, Abby got washed onto the shore of the Scar Island for like 2 minutes.
Foresight, we may see that few minutes right there matter to the grander scheme of everything going on.
But maybe that
Because-
few minutes there are the people that she met on the island or her encounter there with the Scars that maybe led to whatever happened in that final scene. Where
Well, you were saying Abby is in that raid, right? So they're on the island at the same time, but she still will be heading to the aquarium.
who? Abby?
Oh, during that little instance when Ellie's there,
Yeah, Abby should be on that island.
Abby
as
should be
well.
there
Yeah.
with the raid.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So maybe it'll have that little callback.
probably. But all in all, I liked the episode. I thought it was good.
Had a good death. Not a good one, but a shocking one.
Yeah.
For
a few shocking ones.
For the season.
If you're not familiar
TV
with
viewer.
the game, you definitely would have been shocked about, most of the deaths in this show. But yeah, all in all, I'll probably give this episode an 8. 8 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10.
8.5?
Yeah.
This one, either 7.5 or 8
Yeah.
for me. I guess a good mid ground would be 7.75, but I don't know if we're doing that.
7.75.
I'm still conflicted. Like, I know it's about vengeance, but again, she doesn't seem as angry. More, I go back and I said earlier about like a 25 kid in this. It doesn't seem
Committed.
as world hardened or as somebody growing up in this world. You know what I mean? With all the bad things are happening, especially with the mission that they're on and why, she still has too much jolliness. I don't know. Well, I guess she's 19. Yeah, for everything that's happened to her, everything that is happening. Just weird the way it's being portrayed. Not nearly as angry, right?
Not nearly as angry as Ellie in the game.
Yeah. But I understand there are two different mediums, but you're understanding the mission and not the emotion to the mission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel it was a fairly solid episode. There were good parts and not a great seasonal ender. I mean, it ended on some WTF moments, but 7 episodes this season seemed short.
It did.
7 episodes doesn't seem like it was nearly
short.
enough. Yeah,
Like the last season was longer, I believe.
like 10 episodes, I believe.
But this
right?
season ended where we eventually thought it would end. Like, not at first when we first started watching the season.
Mm-hmm.
But like halfway in, I was like, oh, okay, I think it might end right here.
Because the pacing to it.
Yeah, the pacing, and they were going by Seattle day 1, day 2, day 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, well, we know this starts over when it goes over to Abby. And we haven't seen Abby since Joel. So that's probably what's going to happen. But all in all, I enjoyed this episode, and I'm excited to continue it.
This is our Last of Us Season 2, Episode 7. The title was Convergence. So,
Hope
things are
everybody
finally meeting up.
enjoyed. Yeah.
Our little rants about each episode.
This is Zach and Philip here at Time to Game.
Hola.
And keep on gaming.